Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Canadian Prairie. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, we've got a cooler air mass that's kind of sinking into at least the eastern half of the prairie right now. But in general, we got a warming trend to talk about as we head into the end of May, the first few days of June, a dry period here over the next week as we begin to warm up into the first few days of June, but then shifting in week 2 toward a wetter pattern across the prairie. So dry for week 1. As we head into week 2, we're going to start to build in a pattern here that's going to feature more in the way of stormy conditions, maybe a few chances for some severe weather across parts of the prairie as we head into kind of the June 3rd through the 10th time frame. So let's talk about this transition. As we look at the temperatures right now across the region, not too bad as we get started here, but cooler air is coming in on the back of this storm system right now. You can see the counterclockwise swirl right here. Cooler air would be coming in on the back side. We've got some showers associated with that, some light precipitation showing up on the radar here in select areas here between Grand Prairie and Edmonton, across central Saskatchewan, maybe some light showers between Calgary and Medicine Hat early this morning as well. As we talk about the future with the simulated radar forecast here, we'll bring it back to this Wednesday morning. Watching this disturbance, you can kind of see the area of low pressure would be right about here. Got all kinds of precipitation, maybe even some mixed precip as you head off to the north here. And as we head through the next 24 hours into the afternoon, into the evening, going to continue to see this storm system kind of just sitting there and spinning away. So central Saskatchewan into central and northern Manitoba, continuing to see cold, wet precipitation here, kind of mixing between a cold rain here and maybe a few snowflakes mixing in even as we head into the overnight hours and tomorrow morning. This would be Thursday afternoon now. We've headed about 36 hours into the future. We've still got cloud cover and light precipitation possible across Manitoba as we head into the last part of the day. As we look toward the west, Alberta, you're clearing out. You're already starting to warm up, so good conditions as we head to the west tomorrow. Let's take it into Friday. This will be Friday morning now. Look at this. This system's still just slowly making its way out of here. Clouds hanging on across Manitoba into Friday morning. As we head into Friday afternoon, we're going to see another frontal boundary kind of lifting north, maybe a few light showers across central Saskatchewan as that happens. But really, as we head into the weekend, looking at gorgeous conditions across the Canadian Prairie. So total precip accumulation here between now, Wednesday morning, and Saturday afternoon. So the next 84 hours, again, heaviest of which going to fall over the next 24 to 36 hours here from central Saskatchewan into northern and central Manitoba. Here are those light showers that are possible as we head into Friday into Saturday across central Alberta. But you notice as you head further to the south, across much of the prairie, dry as we head through the weekend. Temperatures are going to struggle to climb here across the east as we deal with the cooler air on the backside of the system. This is tomorrow's max temps here in the single digits across Manitoba until you head down toward the U.S. border. Warmer as you head back off toward the west. Here's a look at those Friday high temps really starting to warm off to the west. And this warming trend is going to continue to spread across the prairie as we head into next week. The reason for that, we'll take a look at the jet stream. Here's the trough right now, kind of parked across Manitoba, Manitoba and Saskatchewan. That's bringing in the cooler air mass, that precip across kind of an areas along and north of Highway 16 in Saskatchewan and Manitoba. As we head into early next week, though, let's just let this play out. Here is Sunday into Monday. Check it out, building a ridge across the prairie. That's what's going to allow us to warm up. That's also what's going to allow us to dry out across the prairie. Well, not that it's been, completely wet across much of the prairie right now, but it will keep us dry as we warm up into next week. But we do have change on the horizon. It's not going to be a permanent pattern here as we head into June. In fact, as we get into June 5th, 6th, 7th, right around at the end of the first week of June, we're going to start to build another trough in here across western Canada, across the northwest U.S., and as we do that, a pattern something like that, that's going to keep it warmer at times across the prairie, but this is one that's actually going to feature a pattern here that could lead to some severe weather across the northern plains of the U.S. into the Canadian Prairie as we get into kind of June 6th through the 10th, and that's going to coincide with a flip toward a more active and wetter pattern across the prairie. So let's look at the immediate forecast here from the European model, the precipitation forecast. We've already kind of covered this system that's going to stubbornly sit here, dropping some cold precipitation generally along and north of Highway 16 across Saskatchewan and Manitoba. Taking it all the way into the overnight now. This will be Thursday sunrise, and then we'll take it into Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. Now we're into Thursday night. Sunrise on Friday, this thing is mostly pulling out of here. Wouldn't be shocked if there's maybe some light drizzle falling in the Winnipeg area Friday morning, but by and large, this thing getting out of here. We're looking at maybe some showers across central Alberta as we get into Friday mid-morning into midday. These may linger into the overnight as it slowly begins to push into central Saskatchewan and then fading out. So As we get into central Saskatchewan Friday night into Saturday morning, maybe a trace of precipitation across that area, but really high pressure builds in as we head into the weekend, looking like a warmer weekend, a drier weekend across the prairie, and it looks like those dry conditions continue into next week. We see a storm system emerge here Sunday night into Monday. This one going to be kind of deflected up and over the top of that ridge, though, keeping the prairie dry. You're seeing precipitation north of the prairie, kind of riding up and over the top of that ridge. But as we start to head into the middle and later part of next week, this is when the pattern's going to begin to change. We're going to see the jet stream shifting southward, whereas over the next week, we're doing something like that. Start to build a trough in as we head into, again, the other side here of June 4th, 5th, 6th, as we get into the end of the first week of June. We're going to start to turn toward a more stormy and active pattern across the prairie. Obviously, the European model spitting out a storm system here right around June 4th and 5th. The details on that not going to be clear right now, but we'll have plenty of time to talk about it as we head through the next 216 hours. So let's watch it. Let's talk about it over the next week. But right now, let's focus on this warming trend and this drier pattern across the prairie over at least the next 5 to 6 days. Taking a look at temperatures then, again, cooler air mass starting to sink in here, but it won't last long. We'll see this cooler pattern, or I shouldn't even call it a cooler pattern, this cooler air mass kind of lingering across the eastern half of the prairie just through the weekend. But as we head into early next week, getting into June 1st, 2nd, 3rd, we're starting to really warm up across the prairie again because of the jet stream doing something like that, a big ridge across the Canadian prairie, and that will take us on into the first week of June. So take a look at total precipitation then. We'll just go ahead and put this into motion. That would be the word I'm looking for, into Friday. We'll take this into Saturday. What I want you to really notice, the drier pattern here across much of the prairie. We're now all the way into June 4th, and we still are seeing maybe a smattering here where maybe a shower or two could fall here. But generally along and north of Highway 16 across the prairie through the next week, quite dry with a warming trend. Winds that are quite gusty across the prairie this afternoon are going to begin to fade as this storm system pulls away. We'll see those winds dying down Thursday, leading into a very, again, pleasant weekend. Winds should be much more quiet as we head into Friday, with those temperatures starting to warm and expand across the prairie, with dry conditions taking us into at least the end of next week. So we'll look at your high temperatures for the next 10 days or so. Calgary warming up, that warmest day peaking right around May 31st. High temperatures in the mid-20s, but lingering with the low 20s here as we head into the end of next week. Edmonton, a very similar look. Saskatoon continuing to warm up, peaking on Sunday. Regina, and then a look at Winnipeg. Again, warm today, a high of 24, but that cold front moves through. 14 for the high Thursday and Friday, warming back up as we head into the weekend and early next week. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you again on Friday morning.